Holy cow, that hasn't happened in a while. It actually went the first time. That's kind of odd. It almost makes you think maybe they fixed something. I wouldn't guarantee it. But anyway, we are here. We are ready to go. Pete's here. Kevin L's on with us. Kind of a short deal tonight. Obviously, I'm still out of town, but didn't even know if I was going to make it on today. Long auction today. It was hot. It was miserable. It was muggy. And didn't know for sure if I was even going to try to jump on tonight. But after we got back, kind of regrouped a little bit, I was like, hey, what the heck? We can go for a bit. Hey, there's Randy. Going to be kind of a different episode tonight, obviously, since I'm on the road. I don't have our normal stuff set and ready to go. However, I went to an auction today. So we've got some new stuff that I went and dug out of the truck to check out a couple of things. Hey, there's Big Job. Jeff from Ottawa made it. So we've got a cap. Actually, we've got a cap comparison tonight, so we're going to do that a little bit differently. We've got an emblem. It's not a super exciting emblem, but, hey, we've got one because I bought one at an auction today, right? So we've got a little bit of that stuff going on. And, of course, we'll talk about the No Buddies page and some things like that and what's happening. But so it'll be a little bit different episode tonight. JP's here, but at least we can get on for a bit, get caught up, see how things are going, and check out what everybody's been up to. Me, obviously, I didn't pick up any cars this week. I was gone last weekend. I was home for a couple days. And part of the time I was home, started working on auction cars because that's coming up around the corner. I got some killer stuff lined up for F&E already. I looked at a Ford pickup last week. Actually stopped on my way home that we're going to get for the F&E Collector Auto Auction for you Ford guys. This thing is so cool. Hopefully we'll have it up here in a week or two. But he did guarantee me the truck because we're going to do some advertising with it. 1972 F100 Sport Custom, two-tone brown and tan. It's got all the side moldings on it, V8 automatic, Fridget aftermarket AC, and 43,000 miles. So it's a cool truck. I'm excited. I can't wait to see that thing roll across the block. So starting to get to work on that. So my couple days at home were fast and furious. So I didn't pick up any cars or anything like that. But so that's kind of about all it turned out to be, and then flip back around and get on the road. But anyway, that being said, we got a few things to catch up on and talk about a little bit about the auction today. And like I said, I've got a cool accessory. Instead of a sales brochure, we'll do an accessory that I got at the auction today. We'll do that cap comparison, something a little bit different, and the emblem, and see what else everybody. Oh, I got another really cool piece for me that nobody's going to get. But I got one can that I found the other day that on the road that we can auction. If you guys want to do a can auction tonight, that's all I've got. But that'll be whatever you guys decide to do here a little bit later on. But anyway, let's go ahead and get rolling on tonight's show. Harrisburg, Meekum this weekend. I texted with Wicks a little bit Friday, I think, and he had gotten 2 bought. I have not spent a lot of time going through the results overall. I know he bought a 54 Corvette and a 68 Cyclone earlier in the week, but have not spent a lot of time with the overall results to see what it looked like things were doing in Harrisburg. But, hey, there's Big Rig Brett. But you can jump on and check that stuff out and go through their website, see what you think. John's here with us. So if you guys jumping on yet tonight, even though it is kind of an impromptu thing. Something else. I don't think he posted this to the No Buddies page. I'm going to jump on over to the No Buddies page. Let's talk about that a little bit. Because Tractor Mike just posted some really cool stuff. Let's see. Let's see what's going on the No Buddies page anyway while we're here. Oh, Andy's working on the 56 tonight. Going to jump on while he's working on the truck. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That doesn't look good. That's a lot of junk in there. Some cool accessories that Kyle added that actually is going to go hand in hand with the accessory we're going to check out here in a little bit tonight. Cream City Pete throwing some stuff up. It's a sweet can. I actually don't have that can. Pete, some nice scores. Facebook Marketplace scores. Matt posting some sweet stuff. There's some you guys all had a good week. Copper wire and a $500 Ford Festiva. Not the worst car he's ever owned, not the best. That's hilarious. So, Shopcat throwing some stuff up there. Boat stuff, boat emblems. That mirror is cool that Kyle posted as well. So, anyway, a lot of stuff happening on there. I'm going to have to get Tractor Mike to throw these videos up. Hey, there's Ron. There's Rusty Okie. I'm going to text Tractor Mike and have him throw those videos up there so we can check them out. Okay, I just texted him. And what's cool about this is he was pulling some of his old tractors, old school tractor pull, hook to the sled, pour the coals to her and see what happens. He took a couple of tractors. Now, you guys that were here at the first gathering of the Nobodies last year, one can maybe later, Brett, since I'm on the road. Yes, Tractor Mike is driving. But I just texted him. We'll see if he can get him up there so you guys can check him out, and even maybe while we're on for a bit tonight. You guys that were here a little over a year ago for the first annual gathering of the Nobodies, you'll remember Tractor Mike was late that day because, shockingly to no one there, he had to go buy another tractor. Wow, everybody about fell over. But the tractor he bought that day is one of the ones he was pulling this weekend. And last week, it was in a million pieces. He got her together and pulled it, and pretty much just pulled the sled out of the arena with it. So if he gets those up there, when you guys check those out, remember that John Deere 5010, that's the one he bought that day at the gathering of the Nobodies at that auction before he got out there. So, and that's a big girl, but she pulled that sled on. Like I said, I thought he was going out the end of the arena with it. So it's some pretty cool stuff. So hopefully he can get those up and you can check them out. Hey, there he is right there. We say all kinds of bad things about him, and he pops right up. So we'll see if we can get Tractor Mike to throw those videos up on the Nobodies page, because that 5010, that's a big girl, and she's a pulling sucker, but it was pretty cool to see. He's on the road going through Great Bend right now. Hey, there's Way Camp. How'd that show up right after you, Tractor Mike? It's like a bad penny. It's like you show up, and then Way Camp chimes in. It's like, how'd that happen? So, but those are pretty cool videos. So hopefully you guys will get a chance to see those. Let's see. The auction today was I filled the truck. If you guys saw the Facebook post, I filled the truck. And I got some pretty cool things. I got one thing that we're going to keep for us that I'm really excited about. You guys remember the pea picker, I'm sure. It's been a few years. We did a full video on the pea picker. Awesome bicycle, real deal, all the way down to the original owner's manual, 1972 disc brake Schwinn pea picker. Hey, there's Weston, Double W hanging out here. He just hadn't chimed in yet. But we're at the auction today, and they had 3 trailers full of just flats, basically, tools. There were some parts in there. I did buy some 55 Pontiac parts on that trailer. But, me and Addie are standing there, and I looked down, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I was just like, is that actually really there laying in front of me? So I kind of leaned over, because it was kind of out in the middle of the trailer, dug it out, and it was. I couldn't believe it. I've seen these before. They don't pop up very often. I can't believe I found this in a flat at a farm auction. Was just shocked. Okay, Kevin is with us. He's just his chat's not working tonight. So Kevin Brown here with us as well tonight. Hey, there's Cream City Pete. We were just talking about you too. So anyway, like I said, we get to this auction. They start showing this as a first trailer, and I just was almost in shock when I looked down and seen this, because you know that the P picker, we love the P picker, the Schwinn crates, the muscle bikes. They're so cool. They're so collectible. The real deal stuff, it's hard to find. And I look down and find an original accessory for it, laying there in this flat with like some sanding discs and some gloves and a wire brush. I was like, are you kidding me? This is laying here in front of me at this farm auction. And it actually even says Schwinn right on it. An original, and it is the metallic green bike lock cable for like a P picker. An actual metallic green. It is Schwinn on this side, approved on the other side. So, needless to say, we were pretty excited. There again, it's a cable with a plastic coating on it, but it says Schwinn right on it. It is the metallic green. It goes right with our P picker. It's just like, are you kidding me? I couldn't believe that this thing was laying in front of me in a box at a farm auction. I don't think anybody else knew what it was, because I bought like all 3 boxes for $2.50. So I don't know what's in the rest of them. Probably junk, but I didn't care, because for $2.50, I was pretty happy to find an original. Not that I'm actually going to ride the P picker and leave it out in public anywhere, but just having the original Schwinn accessory to go with it, we were geeked, to say the least. So, come back here. Try to roll off the edge of the counter here. I'll put it over here. Okay, Waycamp got some videos up of Tractor Mike. Sweet. Maybe you give us a different opinion from Waycamp. Probably all for the bad, but there we go. Waycamp got some up for us. Oh, yeah. You guys got to check that stuff out. The 5010 is the top one, and then you got a Pullen and Oliver, I think, on the bottom one. Perfect. Appreciate that, Waycamp. I guess big job. Like I said, I know it's dumb. It's a cable with a plastic coating, but there again, it could have been anything. It could have been yellow for a lemon peeler. Could have been red for an apple crate. Could have been, gray ghost, cotton picker. Could have been any of them, but it was actually P picker, real deal bike lock. So boom, beyond excited. Hey, there's Hubcap Dylan from Oregon this week. So we're all out on the road, it seems like. But anyway, let's get into some of the other auction stuff that we found today. Like I said, we've got an emblem. We've got cap comparison, all from this auction today. One thing about when you go to these auctions, a lot of times it's pretty easy for me to identify what type of vehicles these guys had in their own personal collection. This guy had, based on the parts that you see, he had a 41 to 46 Chevy pickup, had a 55 Pontiac, and he had a 69 Pontiac, full size, because that's what almost all the car parts were for those 3 cars. So that's kind of what we're going to be focusing around tonight, except the hubcap. The hubcap is not, but the emblem that we're going to check out tonight from the 69 Pontiac. This one is, I believe, a front fender emblem from a Catalina. I think this guy had a Bonneville, because there was a bunch of Bonneville parts, but there was also a bunch of Catalina parts. I think he had stripped out some Catalinas for extra parts. These are pop metal emblems, actual stud mount, real deal, chrome plated pop metal. Bill Disk here with us. So there again, it ain't the fanciest one, but these were a nice font. They had white letters inside of them against the chrome, and pretty decent. Now, obviously, this stuff hasn't been cleaned up. This is fresh out of the box. This thing's not pitted up. It's not broke. And it will clean up pretty nicely, but I literally pulled this out of the auction box about 15 minutes ago to bring it in here to talk to you guys. Well, actually, a little longer than that because we jumped on 15 minutes ago. About 30 minutes ago, I pulled this out of the box from the auction today. But hey, we got an emblem tonight. Better than not having anything, right? So tonight, the 1969 Catalina front fender emblem. I did get one other cool piece that we're going to check out. Instead of a brochure tonight, we're going to do an accessory. And somebody posted, let me go back to the Nobody's page. Yeah, Kyle posted the clip-on plastic vent wing air deflectors. I hope you guys saw those on the Nobody's page. But those were an aftermarket Western Auto type accessory. And that's kind of what we've got tonight for an accessory that I just found at this auction today. This actually would have gone on the front of the car. I don't know if it was actually good for anything, but they're really cool and they look really neat today. I think I've got some of these Newell stock, but I'm not 100% sure. So I need to get home and double check. But these actually went out in the front of the car. I don't know what they were supposed to do other than maybe look cool. But look at these big plastic wings. This is kind of a yellowy green. Went right out on the front of the car. Had a big circle in it with the wings on it. This was chrome plated in the center. Had a bracket on the back. A lot of these didn't survive because they were plastic. They were fragile. If these things were left on the car when they were out, when they were parked out in the pasture, they didn't stick around. Hey, Briggs made it tonight. So finding some of this stuff is pretty cool anymore when it's still original and intact, because obviously back in the 50s, yep, my Tractor Mike's got some. I've seen this color and I've seen pink. I don't remember which other colors I've got or what you've got, Tractor Mike, but they're just kind of a neat little accessory deal. They're not real big. I don't have a tape measure laying here, but they're not huge pieces by any means. But and on a big old car from the 50s, they are oh, there's one. Thanks. So it is, these things are, yep, so Tractor Mike's got pink too. 10 inches wide. So these are only 10 inches wide. So on the front of a big car from the 50s, you know, it was pretty much an ornamental thing. And like I said, they just didn't survive unless they were stored inside them. Kept the bugs off the windshield. So they were supposed to deflect, still supposed to deflect air off the front. So that would make sense. I don't know how well they work, but that would make sense. So, and Tractor Mike's got some different styles of them as well. So this is a pretty common style. I've seen these before. I don't remember which other ones I've got. But there again, it was laying in the bottom of a flat with some other parts, and I was like, that's pretty cool. So I was kind of excited to get it. So I thought we'd slide it in as an accessory piece tonight instead of a brochure. How tall, I forgot to talk about how tall these things are. And they are, it's only about 5 inches high. It's only about a 5-inch high piece by about 10 inches. So these aren't huge, especially when you think about putting it on the front of a 50s car. But there again, still a cool piece nonetheless, and it's always cool to see these things when they survive. Saw one mounted mid-hood. I think you're right, actually, Pete. I think that's what this is for. I think you are right. I was thinking right on the front, but I think you're right. They did mount on the hood because I think the hood molding would go here, and then it would kind of supposedly kick the bugs off. So I think that's actually correct. It wasn't directly on the front. It was up on the hood. All right. We do have a cap for tonight. Actually, we've got 2 caps for a cap comparison. So a little bit different tonight, but like I said, we're working off what's in the back of the truck that I literally bought this afternoon. So it's different. I hope you guys think it's kind of fun. I'm just kind of working with what I got. So went to the auction all day, stood out there and baked, and then just got back, started getting ready. I was like, went and ate, and I was trying to think, well, let's see what we got in the truck to work with tonight. One of the boxes shows it on the hood ornament. Okay, I'll have to get. I've got a whole box of new old stock Western auto accessories that Dad and I bought in the 80s out of a Western auto store right by Great Bend, just about 8 miles from Great Bend. I've actually, believe it or not, I've actually got the Western auto sign off the front of that building. But I've got a box of accessories. I'm going to get that out for maybe for next week, see kind of what we've got there to see what the box shows. If nothing else, Tractor Mike can dig out some of his new ones, I'm sure. They actually had promo models advertised today with the auction, but they weren't promo models. So unfortunately, no promos, although we were a little bit excited because they did list promo models, but there was not anything that was actually a promo. There were toys, but no actual promos. Hey, there's Mark stopping by tonight. Just in time for the cap comparison. Going with full-size caps tonight. Now, these are a very common cap. They're very well known. They're very popular. There are a gajillion reproductions out there. So, first off, we're going to show you. Should I show you one of the reproductions or one of the originals? We can do either. Let's go with the original. Oldsmobile Fiesta caps have been popular for years. Back in the 50s, you didn't get, not like today. You can go on eBay and type in wheels, and you can come up with 837,000 different styles of aftermarket wheels for just about any vehicle ever produced. Back in the 50s, you didn't have that option. You had to get something that was cool, flashy, to the point where a lot of guys started building them. And in fact, a while back here, it's been a few years, we actually found a magazine article on how guys custom built their own wheel covers. We've talked about my good buddy Robert and his U.S. Hubcap Collectors page. If you guys are not on that on Facebook, get in there, get a request sent in. The U.S. or Hubcap Collectors of the U.S., I believe, is what he's got it called. Great page, tons of information on there, and it's really cool with some of the stuff those guys find and post on there. So back in the 50s, you wanted something that was cool, but you didn't. But you got to remember, a lot of these cars were customs, so they didn't necessarily want a specific badge on them as well, or they would take the badge off and put something different on them. A cap that was very common and very, very popular, partially because of its universal look in the late 50s, although it was an OE cap, and even continuing until today, because these caps are still popular and they still reproduce samples of them because of the popularity. On the 1956 Oldsmobile Fiesta, this cap is an original. It's got some dings and dents and whammies in it, but this is the real deal cap. Now, we've all seen these. We've seen them everywhere, except most of them look like this. Now, if we step back, it's like, well, they kind of look similar. Appreciate that, Dylan. So, what's the difference? Well, obviously, there's a huge difference in value because the reproductions, you can still buy them today. But if we take a look at this reproduction cap, this has stars in it, almost like a Pontiac star. The Oldsmobile Fiesta used an actual, just like the Oldsmobile used back then, kind of a globe-looking symbol. However, it wasn't very specific. Now, the 54, 55 Fiesta caps had a big Oldsmobile ornament right in them. The 56 Fiesta cap almost looked universal enough where you could get away with using this on other vehicles, whether it was a Mercury or a Ford or a Chevy or even a Mopar. That's what made the 56 Fiesta cap so popular. Now, when we look at the back of the 56 Fiesta, we can see it's an all stainless stamped cap. We can see the little earths stamped in here. They have these fine ridges around the side, the edges to hold them on for retainers. And when we look at the back of the aftermarket, it's completely different. It's stamped steel, different styles of retainers. whole different animal when we step back and take a look at these two caps. So now the aftermarkets, they don't look that much different. They're very similar, as a matter of fact. However, I think you can still buy these, actually. They still crank them out all the time. The guys that are doing a really true period correct car still want OE Fiestas. So there's going to be more value, more desire to have an OE Fiesta cap over the aftermarket. But hang in there, Tractor Mike. Hopefully you don't